Hey everybody, this is Rapid Sports with Jax from the J to the A to the X to the X.com. Go over to the website, check it out. It's hockey time, devil time, getting closer to draft time. Yeah, baby. Can't wait to see what the Devils do. They pick four. A lot of free agents this year. And there's also a lot of people that are on the trading block, and it's so interesting to talk about a lot of them and who would fit well for the Devils. Some of the players that I think fit well for the Devils, you'll be surprised. But that's more on the free agent look. Now, perfect player, if they could get him, of course, you got to trade for him and you got to give something up, would be Seth Jones. Because I could see nothing better than having Seth Jones and Smith as your team for the future, as a pairing for the future. That would just be unbelievable for the Devils if they can somehow pull that off. But I don't know if they're interested, and Devils don't seem to make the big, huge trades like that. But if there was a player that would be perfect to fit the Devils, it would be him if they could somehow do it without giving up, obviously, the big guys. Use Smith. I don't have to go through who they are. If they could somehow do that, but I don't see that happening. I see other teams wanting them bad, like the Flyers, for instance, and they'll probably give up the store for him. And we'll see how it goes. But he would be the perfect Devil to have that kind of defensive pairing for like the next 10 years would be unbelievable, but not going to happen. The other guy that's in the trade, you got a couple guys. You got Eichel, you got Tarasenko. I don't think Eichel's going anywhere. I think somehow Buffalo's got to find a way to keep him and just make him happy. Get some players around him. I don't know. I can't see him going anywhere. And I know if he goes anywhere, my gut feeling is he played for BU, I believe. He probably wants to play in Boston if he could. So we'll see how it goes, but I don't see him going anywhere. I do see Ranheim going somewhere. He definitely will not. I'll be surprised if he's on Buffalo because that's probably can get a lot for him, and I would think he might be a fit for the Devils, but I don't know who's going to give up the most for him and who wants to give him a bigger contract. So we'll see how that goes. And then the other player is Tarasenko. He, in my opinion, would fit good at anyone's lineup, but he instantly helps Hughes if if he can get traded. But again, it's a trade. So are they going to want to make that big trade? And they got to pay him big bucks. He's about 29. He's been hurt a lot, but if you can have a four-line team, tone down his ice time, give him a lot of power play time, let him play on the same line with Hughes or Heischer, either one. But he does give instant credibility to the power play. Totally changes your game. But Devils aren't going to make a trade like that. They haven't over the history. And they like to pick up people, and they like to pick up people around cut time, and you kind of have to wait to see who's around when that happens. But if you go by pure free agents now, there's a whole list of them, and I'm obviously not going to go through the whole list because it'll take me forever because there's a lot. I mean, you have Ovechkin, where he's going to end up at. Getzlaf might be interested one. We'll see how that goes. So it's unrestricted free agent. Taylor Hall is not coming back here. He left here for a reason, so he's not going to come back. So you're not even going to think about that. Krejci's an interesting person. He can help any team. But to me, I think the players that can help the Devils, and one of them would be an interesting player, might not cost a lot. He's 29 years old, 5'10", and he plays for St. Louis now, would be Jaden Schwartz. I think if he got more ice time and he played with some of the younger kids on the Devils, either with Heischer or with Hughes, I think he would help him. He's a left winger, 5'10", not a big guy. Had a little bit of off year this year. Only got 8 goals, 13 assists, 21 points in 40 games. Not awful, but he's had better years than that. And I think with more ice time with the Devils, he might be okay. And then I think the Devils need a goaltender. And does Pekka Rinne still want to play? He might be veteran enough, and you might be able to give him enough. You tried to bring Corey Crawford last year, and then he retired on you. But Pekka Rinne I actually believe he would be a big help for the Devils. I don't know if he's looking to all-out start. He is getting older. He's 38 right now. I don't think he'll retire on the Devils. And if he wants to play, might be a good fit for him to play on the Devils. He'll get enough ice time. He'll be able to mentor Blackwood and Wedgwood. So it might be a good thing if just for like a 1-year try, see how it goes. You could go for a younger guy there, but I think 1 year with him just to try to organize yourself. And then you can kind of look at Wedgwood a little bit, see how he does, see if he's actually ready to take the next step. Then you don't have to go outside the organization. You can stay. Because I thought Wedgwood played pretty well last year. He was okay. He had his good games and his bad games. He wasn't playing in front of the greatest defense in the world, so, you know. So we'll see how it is, but that's who I like. I like them to see if they can grab Rene and grab Schwartz. These are guys that are not so expensive or won't be as expensive as some of the guys out there. Palmieri's interested. I don't think he's coming back. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I don't think he's coming back. And the Devils need a little bit of depth at center because they did have Zajac was like right around your third-ranked center, so you always had the depth. You had a depth, and you had a good face-off man. Will the Devils want him again? I don't think so. I think they might go for a younger model because they want to move them. If they thought they needed a veteran to stay back there. The other one, which is pure free agent, which if the Devils needed the defense, they can have Hamilton. He would be nice. He's 28 years old. He could score. He would fit good. That would be a nice pairing with Smith. You could have that for a little while, maybe not 10 years down the road, but a good 4 or 5 years, and that would be interesting. But the Devils are going to have to give him money. And the owner, to me, at least this owner, so far he's shown he's kind of cheap. And maybe it doesn't look that way. And the Devils have a lot of young kids now, and you're not going to win with all these young kids. You need the right veterans in there. And so far, the team as a whole have tried to bring veterans in to plug it in, and so far it hasn't worked out. That's not to say it's going to be forever, but if they're a little smarter with their players, they need players that are around 27, somewhere between 24 and 28. So when they start playing better and they play with the veterans, they'll win championships with the younger kids going up. That's what you'd like to see. You like to see people like that's why I think Schwartz is good. I think with the Devils, he'll get tons of ice time, tons of power play times, and I think he'll put more points on the board. And that's the type of player that I think you need. You need somebody that's looking for a little bit more ice time because that was like that with Palmieri when he was over with the Ducks. He was their third liner. He was just barely getting enough, but as he got more ice time, he got better and better and better. And now he's won it, and now he's probably going to get a big contract somewhere this year. So we'll see. But it's very, very interesting year what's going to happen with the Devils. But those are the type players I think I like. And I'm probably the only one that's even suggesting Rene as a goaltender. But I think he's perfect. He gives you another year to see if Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood can actually do the job. If neither do the job by this year, then maybe you'll have to look totally different for goaltender. I'm confident Blackwood can do the job, especially if he has a better defense. And I think the Devils are going to work it out somehow, some way, so they can have a better defense. But what I'm watching is this owner. Is he going to actually spend the money? And I'm not saying spend the money to not, because think of it this way. Even if you signed a big free agent, we'll just say Tarasenko, right? And they give him $8 million. You have to remember, $9 million is coming off Subban's contract next year. So I want to keep Subban. I don't want to get rid of him. He's on a contract, prove me year. So if he wants to get a good contract next year, he has to play. He cannot have an off year. He cannot mess around because the Devils aren't going to keep him if he's not having a good year, and no one's going to give him big money. And I like players like that. They're on that free agent year. It's put up or shut up. If he wants big money, I mean, he wants to keep it that $9 million range. He's got to have a good year this year. So I'm saying you could probably put him on the second line with, say, maybe Severson. We'll use him as an example. So you can afford to maybe even do Hamilton. I'm saying one of the players, give him a bigger contract, let him play with Smith, then let Subban play with Severson, and then you'll have Ball with Stiegenhauser, if I'm saying his name right, which just signed. And that's not a bad defense. It's a new defense, and then you let somebody kind of battle for that 6-7 spot. You can have maybe they're going to draft a defenseman. I don't know if they're going to play, but their fourth pick is probably going to be a defenseman. It's going to be, it could be used as what it's starting to look like. Seattle's the key on that because you don't know who the hell they want to pick. Do they want to go with forward? But what you have to kind of do is you have to kind of wait for their expansion draft, and then you can kind of tell, are they going to go defense? Are they going to load up there, which is what Francis has a reputation to do. I'm not saying he's going to take Hughes. I don't really know. We'll see that. But there's so much interesting stuff. And then there's always the unexpected player. And then just out of other teams too, like being curious where Taylor Hall is going to end up. Because it seems like a lot of the scorers now want to end up in Boston all of a sudden. Like Eichel wants to end up there. Taylor Hall might take a pay cut to stay there. You never know. That's going to be interesting. What's going to happen with Tuukka Rask? Bruins are kind of an interesting team too. Then you get a 28-year-old guy that might help is Brendan Saad. He's somebody that can help the Devils. He's 28 years old. He got 15 goals this year, 24 points in 44 games. So a player like that, someone that might cost maybe in the $5-6 million range, that will help your team out. And then if you have a few players on each line, you might be able to balance everything out. But anyway, hopefully that's what the Devils are looking for. Hopefully it's not cheapness, because I really hate to see us under the cap. I don't think you can realistically, in the conference the Devils are in, be under the cap and then kind of win the championship or even make the playoffs. And I'm not saying, when I say under the cap, I don't mean sign players for 10 years. Even if you sign players for a couple of years and you make a mistake, it's a couple of years and you can make up for it. So maybe sign players to 2-3-year contracts at the most, no big contracts, unless you get somebody like Hamilton. He's going to want a big contract, and I'll be willing to take a chance with giving him a big contract. And then some of the players got to get smart, like what Tampa Bay does. You have Stamkos, which is way underpaid. So they're able to sign more. He only gets $7-8 million a year, and Vasilevsky's the same way. So you got a lot of guys that are way underpaid. Some players, if you want to win, you have to do that, and then hopefully you get bonuses. And that comes to the point where how cheap the Devil owners are. Right now, as you can see by me calling them cheap, I'm the only one that's been calling them this because everybody's been looking at all the young kids, figuring give them a chance. Now we got a bunch of young kids. We got 2 more picks this year. We got a whole bunch of picks, whole bunch of kids in the organization. I mean, and then some of them are ready to go. You see Hughes, Heischer, Bratt, Smith. I mean, there's tons of the kids ready to go. You got ones from this year coming up getting ready to play. You got Thompson. I like this kid. A lot of guys ready to go. So now you got to use the cap space to put the veterans in to put this team over the hump. And this is a chance, and this is a big year for the Devils when they do that, because there are some big free agents out. And I haven't even looked to see who comes out next year. But you know what? There's a lot of good free agents now. There's a lot of good trade potential now, and you have a lot of good young guys. So very curious to see what they do and what the league does, and I'm excited. Can't wait for a couple weeks for all this stuff to start. And we'll end the show here. This is Rapping Sports with Jax, from the J to the A to the X to the X.com. Go over to the website. Hey, I can use some subscriptions and some comments. I like to see comments. I haven't seen too many of them lately. Subscriptions are getting a little better. Thank you. I appreciate everyone coming over, but throw a comment so I know what to talk about, especially when it comes to what's going on with the Devils. A lot of fun in the NHL overall. I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye-bye.